Welcome to Games from Folktales. This is a bonus episode. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson. If this is your first episode, start anywhere else. This little bonus episode is just to tell the Patreons that the Draft Zero version of the Mythic Venice book that I've been putting together has been updated, and structurally now all of the core parts are in place. What I'm doing now is going through it, and aside from spell checking and so on, I'm making sure that every part that's been included has an obvious story use. Currently it's 53,000 words long, which is about 2/3 of the length of one of the standard supplements, I believe. In addition to that, I've been having a bit of a look at places like Fiverr where I can get art done. The main additions this time are rules for cloak and dagger fighting with stilettos, ghosts who wear the volto, that is the white carnival mask, Capelians, these are female automatons who wear the Moretta, the black carnival mask. Biribisi, which are burning lottery balls that are infernal sprites which are used by the company of Torcello. The Giocolieri, who is a demonic henchman of the ambassadrix of Torcello, and he is the source of the burning lottery balls. Stats for Fades, the native fairies of Venice. Their stats are a bit of a rework of the Satyr statistics. Stats for Whalers. Whalers are banshees, and I'm amazed, but we don't seem to have 5th edition statistics for banshees, so I've added some now. They're based on a sort of nymph. And stats for the giant stone crocodile, which is, of course, based on the crocodile. In terms of the way ahead, I'm pulling the idea of cicerones out of the book because they don't work properly in group play, which is annoying because that means all that time I put into the pentamerone at the moment hasn't paid off. Maybe I will find a way of using them again as non-player characters or something, but for the moment I don't have a use for them. There's a location I'm working on, the Ospedale Grandi, which will complement the bit on opera. Basically, these are orphanages, and they teach virtuoso-level music to some of their female charges. This has given me the idea that I might want to do an appendix of potential companion backgrounds. I realise there are some in the current Chapter 1, which is the one that's meant to be read by players, but I think I could add some additional depth later on so that once people are used to the Venetian setting, they can pop in and have a look through these. This bit, which is where you go in and pile on plot hooks, is the most difficult part of writing, really, because for every good idea, you get perhaps a paragraph of text. For example, the theft of the relics of St. Heliodorus gets me 5 sentences. Let's try the rough draft. The ambassadrix of Torcello cannot remove the last relic on her island, so she tries to fool the player characters into taking it. She has her servants impersonate the saint and request translation to St. Mark's Square. A heist ensues, with the resistance carefully calibrated to ensure that the player characters succeed but do not suspect. Demons cannot avoid gossip, so eventually the player characters will learn they were tricked. Do they break back into the desecrated cathedral and face far sterner resistance this time? So that's 82 words. If I wanted to get the draft up to 75,000 words, which merely through long custom feels as though it's the natural size of an Ars Magica book, I'd need about 400 plot hooks. Some thoughts on the final sale. I have been saying throughout this process that I would probably kickstart it for art. I don't think that's viable. At minimum, a successful Kickstarter needs great art assets and a professionally produced video. Instead, this is probably going to be finished off and made a pay-what-you-want on drive-thru and itch.co. I'll personally consider it financially successful if it nets me 3,000 Australian dollars. I know that's not the fashionable 10 cents a word that people talk about in role-playing circles now, but it is roughly speaking what Atlas paid me for Sanctuary of Ice in 2003, not adjusted for inflation, and that seems a reasonable sort of emotional boundary. You will also be getting a proper episode sometime this weekend. Your saga may vary. I still haven't got together the new ad read for the end of the podcast. Thank you to the Patreons. Give me large amounts of money. See, that needs work.